On the past several episodes of History Traveler and American Artifact, we've been here in southern Bavaria in the area of the Obersalzberg and Berchtesgaden, looking at some history of World War II. And we're getting ready to pull up stakes and head south to some places that are associated with the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment from the 101st Airborne in World War II. But first, I've had people leave comments and say that they wish that I would show like where I'm staying on some of these trips. Well, here it is right here. I've been staying in this hotel, and if it weren't so darn cloudy today, we would actually be able to see the eagle's nest back here behind us. So anyway, before we load up and head out, I thought that I would show just a little bit of where I've been staying on this trip. So walking into our hotel here, and as we walk in, you can see they have a couple dolls here dressed in like a traditional Bavarian garb, and it is breakfast time right now. Breakfast in Europe is a little different from breakfast in America. You can see there's no sausage and biscuits and gravy or pancakes or anything. It's a lot of like lunch meat and cheese and some fruits. Got a little bit of orange juice and milk over here. They also have croissants, and yeah, a little bit different. All right, and here's the room that I've been staying in. I've been in room 5 on this trip, and things are kind of messy in here. Not too bad, I don't think. I kind of made my bed this morning, but yeah, this is the room that I've been staying in. It got a nice little mountain scene here over the bed, and then well, I always bring a book on these trips thinking that I'm going to have time to read, and it never happens. But yeah, this is typically how things look, just camera gear and junk all over the place. And then, on these trips, I don't really get to relax very much. I'm not complaining. I'm fortunate to be able to go to some of these places and share the experiences, but it's up at daylight, and then I'm awake until late in the night, cataloging footage and going over things for the day, making sure I didn't mess up, which happens often, and have to redo things. And then of course got all the batteries on the charger. Yeah, this one was nice because it has a refrigerator. Bought some chocolate for my family to bring back, and this room is so stinking hot that I had some chocolate earlier and it melted. So it's been rather warm in this room. But yeah, there you go. There's a little bit of a tour of room number 5 here. All right, and now we are back outside. Got a little patio area. They have some tables. So this has been my view over breakfast for the past several days. And typically, you'd be able to see like these snow-capped mountain peaks in the distance. But again, it's super foggy and cloudy today, so you can't really see them. But that was a little bit of, I guess, a home tour, a hotel tour of where I've been staying. But as for now, we're going to go ahead and load things up, and we are going to start driving south to hit a few places that are, I guess, not as commonly shown when it comes to the history of the 101st Airborne and the men of Easy Company. All right, just rolled into the town of ZillMC here in Austria. And this is where the 506th would have stopped on May the 9th. So Dick Winters, in his recollections, talked about how they were coming to the south. They actually, probably about 4 or 5 miles from here, inadvertently passed up Albert Kesselring's headquarters and didn't even know it. He said whenever they rolled in here, there were civilians that were lining the streets, and that they must have looked like a scruffy bunch. There were also German soldiers, and they were all spiffy and looked good, and they're in these dirty fatigues and everything like that. But on the way down, he said usually people would sleep at night because they knew they would have to fight the next day, or that there was the possibility. But all the way down here, the war is over, everybody is celebrating, everybody was in a very festive mood. And this is where the 506th was going to set up their headquarters for the occupation. Now, once the 101st got into ZillMC, well, the 506th ended up setting up their regimental headquarters right here at the Grand Hotel. And throughout the occupation, this was going to kind of be the center of operations for the 506. Different battalions would go out to different places, but the Grand Hotel would serve as the hub. So this would have been Colonel Sink's headquarters right here. So we're going to dodge inside real quick and take a look at a few things, and then, move along. All right, so we just dodged in here to the Grand Hotel in ZillMC to take just a quick look around. So again, this is where the 506th would have had their headquarters set up, and I noticed over here they have like some of the old silver and dining ware from the old days here at the hotel. And Eric and I were joking around that this is all that's left from after World War II. This is what the Americans didn't take with them. Here's another view of the Grand Hotel where the 506 had their regimental headquarters. And man, oh man, look at the view that these guys had over this lake. This is something else. Now, in the series Band of Brothers, there's a scene where Lewis Nixon walks up on Dick Winters and he's getting ready to jump into this lake, and I think he makes some crack about, a red-headed Eskimo. It's possible that maybe Dick Winters was back up here and swam in this lake. Maybe it was in another place because Easy Company didn't stay here for very long. But it doesn't take away from the fact that this lake is just gorgeous and crystal clear. And I would imagine that no matter what time of year you would jump in, it would be just pretty dang cold.
We're standing at the Grand Hotel in ZillMC, Austria. And Dick Winters and the 101st Airborne came through this area after they left Berchtesgaden. Headquarters 506 was set up right here. Colonel Sink and headquarters companies stayed here. Dick Winters and 2nd Battalion quickly thereafter moved down to Cape Prune and set up headquarters. But this kind of became the epicenter for 506 activity because they were dispersed throughout this area. And one of the events I want to talk about was the July 4th celebration. Now, when they were doing occupation duty, since they were here for most of the summer of 1945, they set up events. And this is the original program or a period copy that was distributed amongst the men for the July 4th celebration. And it was here at ZillMC in Austria. And this came from Dick Winters' files, and this is an original, and this was his copy. But I want to point out that they had boat races, they had dances, they had a lunch hour, and they even had an exhibition parachute drop. So a bunch of the guys from the 506 actually parachuted into this lake, and it was a big celebration for the 4th of July. And I also have the Paradise magazine. They published a publication out of ZillMC here, and it was like a newspaper, and there's several issues of this, and these also came from Dick Winter's files, and we're going to show some better shots of them later. This is the July 4th 1945 issue that talks about the July 4th celebration. But some of the other events they set up were athletic competitions, such as this. This is a program for a boxing match between the 101st Airborne and the 11th Armored Division here in ZillMC, and this was on the 28th of July 1945. Again, some pretty interesting items direct from Dick Winter's files, bringing them back here for the first time since the summer of 1945.
All right, I want to take a little bit better look at this program for the July 4th celebration that took place right here on the lake. Okay, so they have a victory parade, there's some water sports, there's something called Duck Your Buddy. I don't know what that's all about, but it sounds like something where somebody could drown. But anyway, here's the exhibition parachute jump. So at 11:30 there was a 10-man stick led by Lieutenant Williams jumping into the lake from 1,000 feet. That seems like a bad idea, but anyway, they did it and nobody died. And then let me see, we got a show here. We have horse races. There was a baseball game at 14:30, beach sports for individuals. So there's a lot of things here that are just keeping these guys occupied, and I don't know, kind of a celebration, you know, through the summer at the end of the war. Look at here, stage show, which has songs, dances, beautiful women at the beach, and then the fireworks program was at 21:30 on the lake by the Regimental Demolition Platoon. Anything can happen, and one thing that's important for this event is that each man bring his own spoon. Right now, as I mentioned, late on May 8th, the 506th would have moved down here to ZillMC. Dick Winters and 2nd Battalion weren't here for very long. Now, in Band of Brothers, they kind of depict it that this is kind of where they planted. They ended up moving through the next day and going down to the next spot that we are going to visit in a town called Cape Prune.